back to the Board Game Captain. I'm the Board Game Captain, and today I'm reviewing the new Starfinder Flip Tiles Space Station Starter Set. So now before I get started in on this, I do want to show that I am drinking out of one of our mugs from our merch shop over on Teespring. This is the Filler Up and Let's Roll mug. This mug is available in tons of different colors, as is our Tears of My Vanquished Opponents mug, as well as all of our various t-shirts. If you want to get yourself some awesome gamer gear, head over to our Teespring store. There is a link in the description of this video down below. In addition, if you're in a position to and would like to help out the channel, you could join my Patreon. There you can get access to early release videos, Patreon only exclusive giveaways, as well as behind the scenes videos with updates about what's going on here over at the Board Game Captain, and the ability to request specifically review and tutorial videos on your favorite classic games. So there is a link in the description to my Patreon down below. And now without any further ado, we're going to get to the review of the Starfinder Flip Tiles Space Station Starter Set. So, okay, so first things first, I want to thank Paizo for sending me the Starfinder Flip Tiles Space Station Starter Set. Thank you very much. And in addition, I want to start this off by showing you some older maps that Paizo's put out. Now, I'm a big fan of Paizo's maps. Before I even got into Pathfinder and also checked out Starfinder, I was a big fan of Paizo for their various game aids and game master aids that they release. And specifically, I've always been a fan of their maps. I want to show you, I have tons, and I do mean tons, of maps here. Now I've got both their giant fold-out maps, which these are cool for if you have something that you might not need to change up from its basic format. So for instance, this map here on one side has a pair of ships in the middle of a boarding action, and on the other side it has three different ships, or rather three different decks of a ship. So you've got the top deck, the middle deck, and the cargo hold all here, which these are really cool. And I've got tons of maps like this, as you can see here. But then in addition, I have tons of what they call their map packs, which these are, they come in plastic wrap, and they're a pack of tons of different bits that represent whatever it is. This one is from an old forest map pack. And these are great, but they have gotten better over time. So this is a really old one. It's fairly basic in the way it's done. But like to show you a newer one where they have, in my opinion, significantly improved over time. Here is one part of their mine pack. I've got more of it here as well. Now these are in my opinion, the colors are richer on these. They've gone with a heavier coating that now can be written on with dry erase markers, and these are really, really much improved. And the reason I'm showing both of these, the really old ones and then the next step up when they are improved, is I do feel like compared to all of these and how they have improved over time, this new format is another big improvement. And I'm going to explain why. I think these are, well, spoiler alert, I think these are great. But first thing, it doesn't come in a little plastic wrap. This comes in a big box, and a box that is too big for the amount of tiles that are in here, which I'm going to explain why in 1 second. I almost forgot to read you the back. So, adventure down every corridor. Stage the scene for epic science fantasy battles with Starfinder Flip Tiles Space Station Starter Set. This boxed collection of beautifully illustrated 6x6 maps provides tons of options for space station encounters, from the corridor blaster battles to medical bay drama to chaos in the crew quarters. Inside, you'll find 42 richly crafted double-sided map tiles and 6 tab dividers to keep them organized. This starter set is only the first step. Flip Tiles expansion sets allow you to expand your space station, both in size and with nearly endless variety. So stop your searching and start your flipping today. The Space Station Starter Set includes rooms, corridors, control rooms, medical labs, airlocks, and elevators. Okay, so there's a picture on the back, which is really great. It shows you a layout of a space station, and this does come with tons of stuff. This is awesome. So first off, my first benefit I want to draw attention to is the fact that they've switched from the rectangles to the squares. So now that may not seem like much of a benefit, but this allows you to turn these in any direction to fit them in, which you could not do in the rectangles. And so in my opinion, while it may seem like a fairly easy decision to do it this way, it's actually a great improvement to the tiles in general. Next, these tiles are the thick, glossy, able to write on with dry erase. And according to this, I haven't tried it, but it says you can actually write on it with wet or dry and permanent markers, and they will still erase from here. So that is really cool. FYI, a trick, even if you write on something that's not supposed to take permanent markers, is to cover over it with dry erase marker and then wipe it all clean, and it will come off anyway. Now, the next thing that is a huge improvement over the old tiles is that these are actually double-sided, which is great. So like here you have a side with 4 rooms and a corridor. On the other side you have a curved corner with some rooms off to the side there. These have tons of variety in what kind of rooms and corridors you can have available. I'm just going to run through quite a few of these so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to get past some of the basic corridors and rooms here to show you some of the more interesting different things. Like here's a med bay type room, which is really cool. Here's something that looks like part of a hydroponics garden, I'm guessing. Again, this is all for a space station, so you've got tons of just different shaped areas. Like here you can extend off that hydroponics garden and actually have it come to an end there. Here you have some sort of control room, and again on the other side of the control room, a fairly basic set of corridors and rooms, though in this case a T intersection, because you know what, you're going to need all different shapes in regard to that. Here we have what appears to be some sort of storage area or possibly a cargo bay. There's tons. They're all double-sided. There's multiples of a lot of the things, but you're going to want multiples because, for instance, you're going to want to join together a couple of those sick bay rooms to make a full sick bay. You can have them next to each other now, and you have an area with tons of beds, because a space station this big is not going to only have 3 beds. You're going to have lots of beds. So, yeah, these are really thick, really well made. Of course, again, you can draw on them with dry and wet erase markers, and it claims permanent markers. Tons of variety, and then the coolest thing is I've gone through a bunch of things that I think are improvements over the basic maps that they all used to do. The biggest improvement, in my opinion, is how this is expandable. So it comes in this nice box, which you can fit all this in, plus lots of extra stuff for when they do expansions to the space stations. And then it comes with a bunch of these. These are little dividers with tabs on them, so you can write on them, and you could organize your rooms whatever any way you see fit. So you could, for instance, if they come up with an expansion that has like defense station bays, like bays behind the guns and whatnot, maybe you're gonna mark weapons and it's gonna be for the weapon bays, or whatever, or what have you, whatever you want to organize as. You could organize these too, because you might say med for the med bays and put all the med bays there, because usually when they have something special on one side, it's going to have fairly basic corridors on the other, so any of them can have those. But then maybe you want to have control rooms in a different area. This is a great idea. I love this for organizing tiles that all fit in the same location. I would love to see them do these with a lot more of their tiles, especially ones like for Pathfinder or fantasy games versus just Starfinder and the sci-fi type games. I would love to see them do this with you know, just dungeon corridors and forests and whatnot. If they already have, please don't hold it against me that I didn't notice. This was the first one of these that I've seen, is this one that they sent me, and this is really, really awesome. Now, just like with all of their maps, because like I said, I was buying up tons of their maps before I got into their games. These are usable in any games that you would be using miniatures for and want to have like a nice, very good looking set of maps out on the table for when the battle happens. I was using those maps originally for a couple of campaigns with Savage Worlds, because Savage Worlds also uses miniatures out on the table. So these are usable in any kind of sci-fi setting, and they're great generic ones that could be used for corridors on space stations or on ships. And they look fantastic. I love the blue lights. I love the look of the corridors. There's lots of little details that you'll notice the more you look at them. And yeah, they're really well done. I think this is a great natural progression up from the way they did the previous tiles, and also in general, I've come to much prefer the tiles to the big maps, unless the big maps are specifically something you wouldn't want to change up. Like the ships are something I would still be okay with just in the big maps, because, you know, once you pick a size ship for whatever the ship is your players are on, you don't really need to change that unless they go to a different ship. But other than that, most other areas, I like the ability to customize them, because instead of having one map, this is literally thousands of different maps based on how you configure them. So yeah, this is really cool. So number one, I would recommend this to you if you are game mastering Starfinder. I would recommend this to you if you are game mastering any sci-fi game in a game system that uses miniatures at all. These are really, really cool. They're going to be very useful, and they're going to be an easy way to make thousands of different combinations for ship floor plans, for space stations, etc. Plus, the expandability is a big plus in my book. You're going to be able to mix and match this with tons of new maps that they're going to come out with to expand on the space station, and that is awesome. So I'm going to give the Starfinder Flip Tiles Space Station Starter Set a 8.5 out of 10. This is really awesome. This is a great product. I can't wait to see the expansions they do for it. I want to see what else they're going to come up with. I personally am hoping for some rooms like armories, as well as weapon control rooms and things like that. I want to see some really cool new stuff. Maybe some shuttle bays, stuff like that would be really awesome. I really like this. I can't wait to see what they're going to do for it. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, either on this set of map tiles or this video, feel free to put them in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this review of this role-playing game product and would like to see me do more reviews like this, be sure to give it a like, share it on all forms of social media, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to The Board Game Captain. That's Captain spelled with a K on YouTube. And until next time, game on.